I'm just sort of going to the next store down the road. We already did a ton of like thrift stores in Albuquerque. If you really had a fun time, this is now Scottsdale, Arizona. I don't know what I'm gonna find, but yeah, let's go ahead and see what this thrift store has to offer. Holy bejesus. Oh my gosh. Hi, I'm from San Diego. I'm doing a blog. I have a bunch of friends online. We don't really go to places like this, and there's not many thrift stores in San Diego, so I'm kind of excited. And I have over 11,000 friends on Facebook. Is it okay if I basically bring my friends along with me while I look around your store?
Sure,
Thank
but
you.
we're not a thrift store, we're an antique store.
Ooh, thank you. An antique store.
Well, you know.
And
but
while
yes.
while I'm getting going, what is your okay, so it's right here.
Yeah, on the black card.
Okay.
Antique-Trove.
Antique-Trove.com, 2020 North Scottsdale Road, Scottsdale, Arizona, 480-947-6074. If they see something and want to take a picture of it and then freeze it and then send it to you, can you mail it to them technically?
Sometimes our manager does that. So we can find out if we can do that. Usually he can.
Okay.
Especially unless it's like really oversized or something.
I see. So
Yeah,
maybe special
fragile.
arrangements.
Yes,
Okay.
or very fragile. That's hard too.
Okay.
But yes.
Thank
other
you.
than that, you're welcome. Have fun.
Thanks.
Hi.
These are all postcards
No, I think
in Florida, Colorado. Some people, believe it or not, are collectors of these.
Aww.
You won't find them there's not very many collectors of postcards, but I'm guessing a collector would know just exactly how rare some of these are. And I don't know, but between you and me, when it's a large collection like this, someone died and they got the whole garage full of a collector, but they won't tell you that. So this might actually be a single person's collection that was a collector, and each one is maybe even some of them over $10,000 for just one.
I can put it in here.
But the collectors have all since died away, including that guy's friends or that girl's friends. So to have anybody sort of validate what I just said will be next to impossible. But knowing my history and being that I'm 40 years old, I'm aware of what things were. And in the 70s and 80s, what they were was it was about postcards and baseball cards and stamps. Now, obviously, there's more baseball card collectors and stamp collectors than there are postcard collectors. But try telling that to a postcard collector that's still living, because right now they just pulled a gun out and they got killed. So I apologize. But technically, what you could be looking at is a single person's entire treasure just made so we can just actually reach out and touch them. I'll give you an example. These are now obviously they're all in gloss, so that would give you an idea that it was from a collector. And some of these are one of a kinds, and the world would know, like, they're probably screaming, go to that one section, which would be the card they're looking for and have been looking for. They might be interested more than me looking at these individually in me telling the sections. So art, beer, bears, bars, banks, advertising, airlines, large letter Ohio, large letter New York, Arizona, California, Colorado, Washington, Rhode Island, South Carolina, South Dakota, Oregon, Pennsylvania, New York, North Carolina. And so topics, these are all topics. So I'll try and hold it still. That way you can just call them comics. And topics. And there might be that person's like special topic that they already saw. Like, oh my god, I saw it. And then you just gotta make a phone call or drive down here. Looks like all the states. There's your Hot Wheel collector person that died. And I say that respectfully, by the way. I'm just trying to give you an idea about how these things possibly go more than the way somebody would just lay it out there for you. There could be like 12-year-olds watching like, these are garage sales. And then if you don't say it probably more than likely how it really is, then they're just going to say, well, what could possibly be a garage sale? If you say they died, like, well, anybody, anything could be in their collection if they died. Yeah, anything could have been in their collection. And if everything goes to a different government here in the next month, 6 months, year, then all of this will be packed up to a merchant that knows the prices, and all of this could be repriced and put online or on a, remember my TV concept of a government where it's on a TV station? These could go on a reel, one at a time, $10,000 for a postcard, $20,000, and the collectors in all 7 continents would be staring at this channel, relocated of course, with a different wife and different kids or whatever, and then they would just be like, there it is. They use some of their money, they decide, oh, this is a holding place for the possible new place that everything gets revalued. So anyways, there's an entire second section. Let's try and hold it still. I saw a stamp movie when I was just a kid that just changed my whole life, because it was just this one stamp that this little boy was looking for, and I got a really good grasp of the concept of collectors and collecting items after that. And you just kind of, and then I lived my life sort of collecting comic book cards. My only name to fame is my really rare collection of comic book cards, and me and Dusty did it. And it was a really good collection. Now, all of these technically are, they look like the Saturday Evening Post. So, standalone advertisements. I'm not quite sure how these would have been delivered the first go around. But obviously, this would bring to light a lot of the old books that I showed you in Albuquerque, taken to an entirely different level, to a collector's level. Now, I don't know what these are called, but this is going right along with what we were talking about, someone's prize collection in there. This one's $28. So, you know, to a collector, these might mean, you know, millions, believe it or not. Now, if you're asking yourself how is it millions? It's something about the concept of, is it the only one in the world? If it's 3, if it's 5, if there's 7, if there's 12, that's where a collector would know why it's worth that much, because I have the only one. Now the key is making it to where, for instance, if you make the channel and everybody is aware because everybody watches the channel that's on a reel, then it makes it a fun game for everybody to get involved with, because everybody is understanding about, first of all, it has to be pleasing to the eyes. Second of all, it has to have history. Second of all, it has to have a story that everybody knows. After that, you add how many of them there are, and you add a group hysteria to the concept. And it's the same concept of having a painting in your house, but having, a dresser of all of the rarest items in the world. And then when people come to your house, they go, you have that, but you can't stimulate it without the public view of everybody knowing what's rare and what's not, because it's a game that everyone plays. And whenever you add the fact that women are interested, that's where you get the pricing and the hysteria. Now the person that owns this entire corner, because we already have been to Albuquerque, so we know that typically it works like someone owns this corner. More than likely their grandfather passed away, and to honor his intent, his reason for collecting, they thought the least they could do, since it's a world that doesn't have an appreciation or a market anymore. He said, well, I'm going to put it in an organized place, and then a professional merchant will know where to go, because it says on the thing, antiques. You get 50 antique alumni around the world to fly, and you get one person that takes a camera in there, documents it, and then during the turn of the government, where they add stuff like this to the TV, then all of this is for reason. So this grandson honored his grandfather by just doing that one step. And that's our luxury, is that he took that step, because it still exists. Holy bejesus. This is like the cash corner. Now there's his booklet of his favorite. There's this big, huge conspiracy going on with recoining coins and reprinting coins. Realistically, for how corrupt the world is right now, it might be an entire cover-up, just so when that market hits, people won't, they might have filtered out all the really actual old coins. It's something of trying to make the collector of new coins more important than collectors of old coins, but more than likely it's a conspiracy to conspire against the concept that we're talking about of making old things have value. More than likely, all of the new printings don't mean anything, except for some old guy owns a factory that has the capacity, which then just decides to make a new fad because he says so. I'm just going to make new stuff a fad because I say so, because I'm that wealthy. But realistically, you can't cover up a true old and rare and one-of-a-kind concepts. So we're here to sort of make a stand against that and show that, you know, it's still possible. These coins might still be there, even though they made a large effort to try and have you go melt down your stuff and then make new ones. So it's to show that it's still there, and the TV channel might still be very, very well received. For anybody that doesn't know, if you're like a kid, it started out with these, then it went to tapes, then it went to CDs, and then it went to MP3s. So you're aware. These are stuff that would go inside just like a tape, like your car. Or people would have an 8-track player in their house, but it's a pretty good collection considering I haven't ever. That's actually the first 8-track I've ever seen up close. I've seen them in movies and in TV shows, but never actually held one. Oh. I'll go ahead and read these off because they look actually like someone's pride and joy. Bleak House, Nicholas, Kelly, Martina, Chosenwit, Dombe and Son, Iswick Club, Master Humphreys, Clock. These look like fiction books, possibly, except for those, but maybe they're labeled $12 each. That'll be repriced. And then 1776 to 1802. Pretty old. American Conflict, Greenlee. American Conflict. Again. Colonial JC, Fremont, or something. Narratives of... I can't read it. Edwin Orud. Anyways. Some more interesting stuff. Richmond City Paper Money, 1862. Abraham Lincoln, A History. So, am I burning up? I gotta take off all my stuff. I gotta take off my jacket. It's kind of fun looking at books because it's interesting to see what different cities have more than other cities, or if there is a differential. Got your paintings. Believe it or not, you can always assume to find rare anything, including just basic canvas. I'm going to stop it and restart it.